It's an interesting thing. This is one of the gifts that Hashem gave us, is that we could do tshuva if we do something wrong. So the Mishnah describes this gift of tshuva, pei amid beis, and the Mishnah says, right, we know the Rosh HaShana already says that this is a gift that Hashem gave us, that even if someone did something wrong, usually you can't turn back the clock. You can't take back something that you did wrong. If someone has killed someone, and the Rosh HaShana says, how could you bring back the lost life? Someone did something wrong, how could he take that back? He did an aveira, how could he take that back? So the chiddush of tshuva was machadish. It came to teach us that Hashem gave us a gift, that He considers the akiras ha'aratza, the fact that you take away the will, the desire. You had a desire to do something wrong, so the taking away your harata means you regret it. So that is the akiras ha'aratza. Taking away the desire is like you took it, like you actually akiras hachet. It's like you actually took away the chet. It's like you took away the sin. That was the chiddush the Rosh HaShana says of tshuva. It's not just magic. There's no such thing as magic, the Rosh HaShana says, because Hashem is din. Hashem always judges us for everything that we do. We have to have an accounting for. It says that if anyone says Hashem is mevater, Hashem just overlooks averis, then it says that his insides will become something mevater. They will get overlooked. So Hashem holds an accountability for everything. So how could there be such a thing as tshuva? So Rosh HaShana says, because it all works with cheshbon. It all works with an accounting, and the idea is that with the chet that he did was a big desire. So now that he has charata, that takes away the akiras ha'aratan is the akiras ha'chet. It takes away the chet. Now the question is, let's say a person wants to say, he wants to make up like this. He wants to do an aveira, and he says, I'll do tshuva on it. He has a good plan. He wants to do tshuva, he wants to do an aveira, and he wants to do tshuva. Could he make up such a plan? He knows there's such a gift of tshuva. So now he says, I'll do a plan. I'll do an aveira and I'll do tshuva. What do you think? Can't work? Why not?
Shouldn't work.
Why not? Tshuva is tshuva.
It's like amazing already.
He's going to do
It's like amazing.
He was amazing when he did the aveira. And fine, so we won't call it
even more than that.
He won't call it a shoygeg avera. We'll call it a amazing avera. So he did amazing avera, but now he's doing a real tshuva.
Taking advantage of the situation. What's amazing?
Amazing means he does it on purpose. So here we have your friend here is saying that maybe he's saying he's doing it willfully, the avera now. So I'm saying good, maybe he's doing it willfully, but he wants to do a real tshuva. He wants to do a real tshuva, so maybe a real tshuva should work after that.
It's like a record in baseball with a guy on steroids. They put a little asterisk next to it, right? So it is like we put a little asterisk next to it. And yeah, okay, fine. So he's amazing. He wants to do tshuva, but he got to put a little star next to it, because really he did it because he knows there's this formula
but
that gets him out of it.
So why shouldn't tshuva help you?
So it's like a shallow tshuva.
Let's say it's a real tshuva. Let's say the guy says he's going to do an avera, but he's going to do a real tshuva. He's going to take out the shari tshuva, and he's going to learn what Rabbeinu Yonah says. There are 24 gates, how to do 24 steps to do tshuva. He's going to do the 24 steps. He's going to work on the regret. Then he's going to work charata. Then yaga, and he's going to worry about what he's doing wrong, what he did wrong, and then he'll feel bad. There's anocha. He'll sigh about it. But he'll really feel bad about it. Let's say, he does a real tshuva. What would you say?
He can, but that's not what you said in the beginning.
Don't that's
he's doing a avera just because he knows he can do tshuva and get out of it, and thank you very much.
But he's going to do a real tshuva.
And he can go back and do that avera once again, right?
He's going to do a real tshuva.
Well, the question is he going to do it again?
He will do a real tshuva. He might do it again.
So if he doesn't do it again, obviously, then he's going to have...
then it's not a real tshuva.
I mean,
Why?
God's going to forgive him either way.
What?
If he's really serious about the tshuva, he'll get forgiven.
He'll get forgiven.
If he does it again, he's going to be back in the same boat again.
Okay.
He does the tshuva.
So God's going to assume you did tshuva. His assumption is going to be, that's it, we're good.
So you
do it again.
So he gets forgiven.
So you do it again.
And if he does it again, and he does tshuva again,
I would nail him for that one and the one before, right?
But the real tshuva.
If he's sincere when he does the tshuva, that's...
He's sincere. That's the question.
That's all you need.
How sincere could he be if he was planning to sin again?
Okay, but the point is that at the time that he does the avera, he's planning to sin again. But at the time that he does the tshuva, if he's really sincere, then he isn't planning to sin again. So it doesn't matter his mindset when he does the avera. It's his mindset when he does the tshuva. So if you're going to say that it's a real tshuva, then obviously he didn't have in mind to sin again. Because if he did, then it's not a real tshuva.
That's an interesting thing. Right, he has to do a real tshuva, and when he finishes doing tshuva, then he's going to say again, I want to do it again.
Okay, but then it's not a real tshuva. Unless at the time that he was doing tshuva, he wouldn't have said.
But part of the process is to say, I'm not going to do it again.
Because you're sort of playing around.
Given the same opportunity.
No, so that's a good question. You're asking, charata means that you regret it. You feel bad. The Shari Tshuva writes that person says, how did I moirid, how did I go against Hashem, and I switched this world, how did I make a switch? I gave a little bit of this world in, I wanted to take advantage from this world, and I gave up on the next world. And he feels very bad about it, right? He says, how did I go like a horse without even thinking? I just ran headlong into it. So that's a very good question here. If he's really doing charata, so how could he come back and do the tshuva again? How can he do the avera twice? That's a question.
Because people are flawed.
What?
People are flawed. You could want to tshuva and be flawed, incapable of it.
Did he do a real tshuva?
Yeah.
Assuming
He did a real tshuva.
Assuming he did a real tshuva.
I know what happened. So why is he doing the avera again?
Because he's flawed. He's not the ability to do the right thing.
So he didn't do a real tshuva then. Real tshuva, I want to tell you, real tshuva is up till the end degree, the highest darg of tshuva is that you come to that same avera again.
Which is the same, right? You get the same thing all over again.
Stay in that situation. If you're placed in that situation a second time and then you don't do it, then we know that you're a real Baal Tshuva. That's like the test.
But later on you come back and you don't quite make it the third time. The third time you have trouble.
What? So what happened? The first time?
The second time you come back and you resist.
Right.
The third time you don't resist so much.
The second time you resist. So let's see the Mishnah inside. The Mishnah here at Pehei Amud Beis, it starts with the words Chatas va'asham, and we'll start 2 lines after that in the middle of the line by the Beis. Ha'oimer, right? I know, Harry, you were going through Yuma, so this is the beautiful Mishnah here.
We're not there yet.
Oh, you're not here. Okay, so you can skip this.
We're like a lamechet.
Oh, okay. So you'll mark off when you get up to Pehei. You can skip this Gemara. Pehei Amud Beis and Yuma. So the Mishnah here, 2 lines after it starts, says, Ha'oimer echte ve'ashav, Pehei Amud Beis. If he says echte ve'ashav, and then it says echte ve'ashav. So notice, it repeats it twice. It says twice those words. Echte, I will sin, ve'ashav, and I'll do tshuva. Again, echte ve'ashav, and I'll do tshuva again. So the Mishnah says that ein maspikin loy biyadei lasis tshuva. Mishnah says he will not be maspik. So in the middle, you'll see in the middle of the Gemara, right in the middle, there's right over there on Pehei Amud Beis. The Mishnah says, what does it mean, a maspikin? Yeah, I'll switch. A maspikin means now it doesn't mean you cannot do tshuva. There is never any situation in the world that a person can't do tshuva on. We know this from the story with Rabbi Eliezer ben Dordaya, that Eliezer ben Dordaya, he did a big avera, and he thought that maybe he couldn't do tshuva, and he cried until he died. But at that minute, there was a heavenly voice came out and said that the Baskel, there was a heavenly voice that your tshuva was accepted, and the voice said that a person could change in a minute. Yachal, a person could do b'shah, in 1 hour, a person could be koina olam haba. Yeah.
The only way for him to prove himself though was to die. Like he had to die in order to do tshuva. Like it sort of suggests that if he'd lived, he might have sinned again.
No. What happened was he was crying, and he cried so much he ended up dying. But that crying was so effective that it was actually a real tshuva. And on that, the heavenly voice said that Yachal Adam, you could be koina olamai, you could acquire your whole world in an hour. In an hour you could acquire, because here he was a Rasha, he did something wrong, and in an hour he did tshuva, a real tshuva. It was a real tshuva, And so you see from here that in any event you could do tshuva. The Rambam says the last halacha in Perek Dalet in Hilchos Tshuva, the Rambam says, well, there are a bunch of things that he quotes that hold back the tshuva. If a person does 24 things, it's harder to do tshuva. Right? I'll give you a few cases. One of these cases is our case. And that's our Mishnah. The Mishnah here, if someone says, I will do a Aveira, he plans it out, premeditated sin, and he plans on doing tshuva, Hashem says, I'm not going to help you do tshuva. Ein maspikin means they don't help him. They won't give him the opportunity. Hashem won't help him do tshuva. But the Rambam says, of course, if he ends up doing tshuva, he does it by himself, he's able to persevere, then the Rambam says, even though he doesn't have help, im asa adam tshuva, hareza bal tshuva, v'yesh lachelek olam haba. He'll still get olam haba. It's just that he won't get any help from Hashem. He has a bunch of cases. Someone who is machti the rabbin, someone who trips up people. Let's say he's printing a newspaper, and he's printing up Lashon Hara in the newspaper, or he's printing up something which will be something Isser, and he's tripping up the rabbin, many people. That is something which is such a big sin that Hashem doesn't help him do tshuva. There's a few different things. The Rambam goes through some things. Parish min hatzibur. The Rambam says if you separate from the tzibur, if everyone is trying to do a certain enactment and you separate, so all these things are Hashem won't help you do tshuva. Someone who laughs upon someone who does a mitzvah, all these different things. So our case here is one case. If he says he plans to do an avera and he plans to do tshuva, it says we don't help him do tshuva. Ein maspikim, he won't have help. Now let's see. So what's the reason here? Let's go to this idea. The first thing is, why does it say it twice? Why does it repeat it? The Mishnah says twice. We don't help him do tshuva. So the question is, why does it say it twice? Now let's see the Gemara. Let's now turn to Daf Pei Zayin Amud Aleph. Skip to the Gemara. The Gemara here now tackles the Mishnah. Pei Zayin Amud Aleph, right where it gets wide. You see where it gets wide. So 3 lines after that is the 2 dots. There it says Ha'omer Echtev Ashav. So the Gemara here says Lama Leila Meimar Echtev Ashav. Why does it say Echtev Ashav Trei Zimni twice? You should just say one time. If he plans premeditated aveira with a tshuva, so he's abusing his privilege, right? As Harry's saying very nicely, that the idea is because tshuva is a gift, and being that tshuva is a gift, he's abusing that whole privilege, so he can't even use it out. But why do you have to say it twice? The Gemara says, Kid Rav Huna, who comes to teach you like Rav Huna. Amar Rav. Dam Rav Huna Amar Rav. Kiven sha'avar adam aveira ve-chatima hutra loy. What says that if a person does an aveira once and then he does it again, ve-chatima, he does it twice, he does one sin twice, hutra loy, it becomes mutter to him. Sounds like it's not from the Gemara. It sounds like it's permitted for him to do that aveira again. So the Gemara asks, hutra loy, sakataitach. Do you think that if a person did an aveira twice, he can now do it a 3rd time? It's mutter for him to do it. It doesn't make sense. The Gemara says, no, ela nas is like heter. It means that it becomes to him like a heter.
In his mind.
Right. In his mind, it becomes like a heter. Because he thinks that once he did it once, he did it twice, so it becomes like it's not so bad. It's the way in psychology how people think. If they do something once, twice, they have a guilty conscience the first time, the second time a little less.
So when the Mishnah says is that talking about doing tshuva the first time or the second time?
Oh, so now, so we're going to now have to tackle this. So the Gemara is saying the reason why it said it twice, really you could have just said Echtev Ashav once. The reason why it said it twice is because we want to tell you this, we want to go like Reb Huna Amar Rav's din. Reb Huna Amar Rav's din was that if he did an Aveira and he did it again, now psychologically it becomes permissible to him. He thinks it's not so bad. The first time, someone ever, came late to davening or something, it was very bad, but, he came late twice, so then it became a little bit more permissible until it became mutter. Rabbi Shlomo Salanter even says that after you do it 3 times, then it becomes a mitzvah. Yeah, becomes or like a shita, becomes your, this is what I do. Becomes a shita. So, but in any event, the Gemara is just dealing with 2 times. 2 times it becomes psychologically permitted. So therefore, the question is now, how do you plug this back into the Mishnah? Now, the Mishnah said it twice. So what does it mean twice? It seems like once you do it twice, so it becomes permissible. And now, I offer you 2 ways how to understand this Gemara. One way is that he won't do tshuva because he thinks it's permissible. If he did it twice, so he'll never do tshuva because he thinks it's permissible. That's one way to look at it. Another way to look at it is, since he did it Avera twice, so he did it on Avera and he showed he despised it so much that it became to a heter to him. So on that Hashem doesn't help him do tshuva. On that Hashem won't help him do tshuva, because he despised the Avera so much, and he came to look at it like it's permitted. So on that maybe Hashem ein maspikim. We don't help him do tshuva. These are 2 choices I'll put on the floor for everyone to think about here. Question: What would you think here? What would fit into the Mishnah here? The Mishnah for sure says twice, and Reb Huna Marav is coming to somehow explain the twice. The two reasons is the 2 times is because twice it becomes permitted. But what exactly is the order now? So, at first thought it would be, well, if he did it twice, he would think it's permitted for him, and therefore he would never do tshuva. No one will ever come to do tshuva if he thinks it's permitted, right? Let's say you have someone who's, he's on his life's mission. He thinks he has to, he thinks there's a certain mission that he has to do, and he's busy all day, and he thinks that's a mitzvah. He'll never, and he's really doing something wrong. He'll never retract from it, right? You can't ever give him mussar. You'll never be able to tell him that he's doing the wrong thing, because he thinks what he's doing is a big mitzvah. So here too, that's one idea. If you do it twice, that's why the Mishnah couldn't say 1 time, because if you would have just said 1 time, he doesn't think it's permitted, right? He'll think, let's say it's mutter 1 time, but he'll do tshuva maybe, because it doesn't become permissible to him after 1 time. So Mishnah had to say twice. Now it's already to him it's mutter. So now he'll never do tshuva.
The way I look at it, it's like the different standards of tshuva that Hashem accepts. So you do it the first time, you do it for Mezid, you do it for Shogeg, perhaps they're different. Hashem expects you to do a different degree of tshuva. But in this situation, you did a chet, you did tshuva, and you did a chet again, with the idea that you're going to do tshuva. The level of tshuva that Hashem requires from you is so high. That's what it means, ein maspikim. It's so high, it's almost an impossible standard. So that's
why? Why is it? Why?
Because Hashem doesn't trust your sincerity anymore. So he still makes it possible for you to tshuva, but the standard is so high that you really, really, really have to be sincere.
Now, so are you also agreeing? You're going with Reb Huna Marav with this din of the Gemara of the fact that he did it twice becomes permissible to him, or are you saying a different idea?
It's a little bit different,
right?
Because Reb Huna is talking about the person's mindset. I'm talking about Kiyachal Hashem's mindset. So it's a little bit different.
But we have to plug it back into the Mishnah. Either way, the Reb Huna Marav here is coming to say the reason of the Mishnah, why the Mishnah said that if he did an Avera twice with the intent to do tshuva each time, in that case, Hashem won't help him do tshuva. So we have to mix both of them together. We have to mix his intention with Hashem not helping him do tshuva.
So by not helping him, he makes it that much harder.
So Hashem's not helping him, right? But so why after 2 times doing the Avera will Hashem not help him?
Because in order to prove to Hashem that it's a really sincere teshuva, you have to make that extra effort.
You have to do it that you won't come to set. You won't come to do
it
Avera
all on your own, as it were, without Hashem helping you.
That's why. Interesting idea.
So the first time Hashem helps you, so He gives you the benefit of the doubt. The second time you don't have the benefit of the doubt, so you have to do all the work yourself.
Okay. This will be another idea. This is even without the Gemara. What you're saying is a new idea of the Gemara. No, the Gemara is saying that if you did it twice, you think it's mutter now. You think it's permissible, so you'll never do tshuva. You think it's permitted, right? So you have to work that in. But look at Rashi. Why don't you show Rashi? Look at Rashi next to on this Gemara, Pei Zayin Amud Aleph. Rashi here is on the first column. Let's say 15 lines up from the bottom. Kidder Rav Huna. You see those words, Kidder Rav Huna? Right, you got it, David? Kidder Rav Huna. So Rashi says here, Dikivan dechata trei zimni. Once he did an aveira twice, ei maspikim b'yadi lasis tshuva. We won't help him. Hashem won't help him do tshuva. The fisha aveira daim elav heter, because the sin that he did seems to him like it's mutter. Rashi seems to say that it's not just a natural occurrence that he himself won't do tshuva because he thinks it's more permitted to him. It's not just a two-step process. Rashi says that because he did it twice, he will think it's mutter, so Hashem won't help him do tshuva on such a thing. On an aveira that you think you're allowed to do, Hashem's not going to help you and bring you to do tshuva. You are to despise an aveira and to think that it's even mutter. Hashem doesn't help someone do tshuva on such a thing. That's what Rashi says over here. Does that make sense? It's not just a simple 1-2 step process that he won't do tshuva because he thinks it's mutter. Rashi says more than that. Because you think it's mutter and you're treating the aveira so lightly, Hashem won't help you do tshuva on such an aveira. Now, there's a question here you have to ask here in the words ha'oimer. What did the Mishnah say? Ha'oimer after v'ashav. Right. Let's just go back to the Mishnah for a minute. The Mishnah said on Pei Hei Amud Beis that he said, I will sin and I will do tshuva. Question is here now, why do we say about what he said? What does it matter than what he said? Shouldn't the main thing be that he did the aveira twice? The fact that he did it twice, that's the main thing. According to Rav Huna Marav is saying, he did an aveira and he did it twice, so it becomes mutter for him, and something becomes permissible. So now he'll never come to do tshuva on that. Hashem won't help him do tshuva because he thinks it's permissible. But why does it stress the fact that he said this? Why does Mishnah have to repeat what he said? It would seem that from Rav Huna Marav, the main thing is that he did an aveira twice. Once a person does an aveira, right? Rav Huna Marav's words were, Kivan sha'avar adam aveira v'shana boy. If he did it ve-chatima, and he did it shniya, pam shniya, second time. So it becomes, once you do it twice, it becomes permitted. But why do we have to say what he said? Is the saying part of the equation? That's the question here. What the Mishnah seems to quote what he said. Right? The Gemara quotes in the first words, ha'oimer after v'ashav. Is the saying part of the equation, or just the actual doing the aveira twice is what brings about that he won't be able to do tshuva? That's the question here. Why the Mishnah, and the Mishnah is gold. Every word of the Mishnah is gold. So if the fact the Mishnah said oimer, sounds like there's something more to it. It's not just the actual doing the aveira twice. So from Rashi, it really doesn't have to do with the saying. From Rashi, it has to do with the fact that he did an aveira twice. He did it twice, so now Hashem won't help him do tshuva on such an aveira. So now the Meiri, I tell you there's a two lines in the Meiri. The Meiri wants to say that it's from the fact that he said it, and he kept on thinking it and saying it, that's the problem. He zeroes in on these words, ha'oimer. And he says, shemasmid. You know what a masmid is? They have masmidim. Masmidim is people who are always learning. It's a masmid. He's always learning. It comes from the word tamid, always. So here the Meiri says, if he's tamid, he's always saying this, and he's always thinking this. Already twice he's thinking he's going to do an aveira and he's going to do tshuva. So then, nafsi like after you do it and you say it twice, it already becomes ingrained in you that it becomes like it's mutter. If you did it and said it twice, then it became mutter to you. But let's say a person would happen to trip up on an aveira twice. If he tripped up, then it wouldn't be so bad. The problem is that you tripped up, but you planned on tripping up, and you said it, and you thought about it. It's premeditated. Premeditation is what makes it so bad. That's what makes it keheter. That's what he's saying. But if he wouldn't have premeditated it, let's say he just would have tripped into the Aveira, then it could be, then it wouldn't have been so bad. Maybe it would become, in a certain element, it would become Keter. If a person does any Aveira twice, then it becomes mutter to him. Any Aveira he does twice, he already thinks it's mutter. But maybe to reach such a level, it comes out this two levels.
As long as he knows that it's an Aveira at the end of the day, too, right?
Well,
he's got to know that he's done something wrong.
Right.
Before. When it's not premeditated and it's not, you're just saying like Rashi, because you're saying Rashi says, does it twice.
Right.
That's it. But I think he's got to know what he's doing, too.
Right. In Rashi's saying?
No, I'm saying a guy's got to know.
He got to know it's wrong.
A guy could do it twice and still not know he's done something wrong.
Right. Yeah. So if he doesn't know it's wrong, right, then he's lost. Then he thought it was a heter to begin with.
Right.
But let's say a guy who knew it was wrong, so he tripped. He tripped up twice. He missed Shachris twice. So once he misses Shachris twice, so now he thinks, well, you don't have to have with a minyan anyway. It's not so bad, and it'll come to heter. That's one level of doing something wrong. But just to miss twice, we're speaking of why he said ha'omer, why he had to say it. So just to miss twice will be one level of evil. But when you say it and premeditate it and think about it and plan on doing it wrong and then doing it wrong also, that's a deeper level. That would be a maspikin. There Hashem doesn't help you do tshuva. There Hashem won't help you do tshuva because already that's a very deep level that he is sunk in bad. On that Hashem won't help him do tshuva. But in the case of Reb Huna Marav, that a guy he tripped up twice, Hashem might help him do tshuva. That's why it's an interesting chiluk, an interesting distinction that we're saying here. If the guy missed Shachris twice, okay, Hashem will help him do tshuva. Hashem will help him have the feelings of regret. Say, oh, I missed Shachris, oh, I missed Baruch Hu, I missed Kedusha, I missed davening with a minyan. He'll feel bad, he'll do tshuva. So then Hashem will help him do tshuva. But if a guy plans it out, ha'omer echteh ve'ashuv, he thinks about it, he says I'm going to miss Shachris, and then I'll do tshuva. I'll do it, and then he says it even twice. The saying twice, says the Meiri, is constant, putting it into your head, driving it in. That is such, he sinks so low, and such a thing Hashem will help him do tshuva. That's how the Meiri says this. He's saying, such a case is not like heter. It becomes to him like it's mutter ve'ema speak of the other last tshuva. Hashem won't help him do tshuva. Yeah, unless he has a special merit, he says. That would be the case, by the way. You're asking here, how would he ever do tshuva? If he has a special merit, then maybe he'll be able to do it. Or because really, you need help to do tshuva. Really, even though it is interesting, but that's he uses this. We would have to look at his words, but that's how he seems to say it. Although he actually says this on the Gemara. That seems to be the pshat. You need to say it. You need to say it. So Reb Huna's pshat is not just, he did it twice. There are two levels. When he does it twice, it becomes keter, but when he does it twice and he says he's going to do it twice, that's even worse. Then Hashem won't help him do tshuva. Question is, would you say Rashi says the same thing? That we'd have to think about. Because Rashi didn't speak about the saying. Rashi just said, well, he did the chet twice, we won't help him do tshuva. Rashi's not so clear. It could be we have a machlekes between Rashi and the Meiri. Rashi just says he did it twice. And according to Rashi, the words echeteh, that he said it, ha'omer echeteh ve'ashuv, that is not so relevant to us. We don't really care about the fact that he said it. So it requires a little bit of thought. We'd have to dwell on this. The truth is, Reb Shach himself, Reb Shach asked the question here, what's the case of echeteh ve'ashuv twice? We have to think about that case, the actual case. What's the case? Let's describe the scenario. What happened? He got up one morning. He said, I'm not going to go to Shachris, and then I'll do tshuva. And then he's not going to go to Shachris the next day, and then I'll do tshuva. What was it? Like, let's say he woke up Sunday morning. He said he's not going to Shachris Sunday morning. He'll do tshuva when? He's not going to go to Shachris Sunday and Monday. And when was the Ashuv? When was the first tshuva? Reb Shach asked, was there a tshuva in between the two times? Or was there no tshuva? Was the tshuva after everything? How would you think? That's the two cases would be. Maybe if he did tshuva right at the beginning. So Reb Shach asks, if he says after, let's say he woke up, he said, I'm not going shachas today, and then he did tshuva Sunday afternoon. And then he says, Monday morning, I'm not going to shachas again. He wakes up on the Monday morning and decides that. So he says, I'm not going to go to shachas, now I'll do tshuva. So if Shach asks the question, if he did tshuva already on Sunday, so then he has a clean slate. If he did a real, this goes back to what we spoke about before. If he did a real tshuva, so then it's not a second time. Now it's the first time. Monday will be the first time because he already did a real tshuva the first time. On Sunday he did real tshuva. So Monday should be number one. That's the question there, right?
Well, it's because he said it on Sunday morning before Minyan.
What did he say? One time?
He said twice. He was
twice.
He was thinking twice already.
Yeah, he did. But he did tshuva Sunday night.
Yeah, but his original plan was to do the Avera twice. With the understanding.
But if he did a real tshuva,
right? So that's the whole thing.
He did. Oh, this is a big question. If he did a real tshuva, then Monday morning is number one.
Right, but at the time, but the Mishnah is talking about Sunday morning.
So the Mishnah is talking Sunday. You plan doing Sunday and Monday. Now, for some reason which we don't understand, it's a little hard to understand. If he did a real tshuva, why is he doing it Monday morning?
But maybe he didn't do it Monday morning. Maybe he just planned to do it Monday morning. We don't know that he did.
Yeah, but after
we're going back to.
Amos speaking the other. We don't help him do tshuva when. We don't help him do tshuva on what? On the Sunday morning or the Monday morning?
Sunday.
But the problem with saying that Sunday morning is because the Gemara brings down this Rav Huna Marav that said that the idea of the Mishnah is because he did it and he did it again. Avar ve-chatima, not just like a heter. So you see that the idea of where we don't help you do tshuva is on the Monday. You need the second time to have that Hashem says, I'm not helping you do tshuva. You need the Avar ve-chatima, because if it would just be one time, that wouldn't be so bad. So it's a funny thing. So let's go back now. So Sunday, she's saying he planned on Sunday not coming and Monday not coming. Now did he do tshuva? So you want to say maybe he did tshuva. He did a full tshuva Sunday night. He did a full tshuva. But he knew that there's such a tool out there called tshuva. So he used the tool of tshuva, and then he started up again on Monday. That seems to be. So it appears, even though he did a real tshuva, we don't start the count again and say, oh, okay, now this is Monday's number one. This is a nice pshat what you're saying. This would be what Reb Shach would answer. That it's called number two Monday. Because Sunday you premeditated both. Although you did a tshuva, but that doesn't start restart the clock, the count. We don't say, oh, Monday's number one. Because it's all premeditated back from the first day. So somehow he was able to, don't ask me how, but he did a real tshuva, and he even still he wanted to do the Avera again. He did a real tshuva.
More, you had to have a real tshuva, then he's still thinking this. And I think that's what the Mishnah's got is a guy who's thinking he's doing a real tshuva, but he's really not, because he always has it in mind to do it again.
But then it's not a good tshuva then.
Right. And who said it's a good tshuva? He says Arshu. That doesn't mean it's a good. Doesn't mean it's good.
He's planning on doing tshuva.
The Mishnah doesn't tell you if it's good, bad, or indifferent.
Well,
if a guy's going to do it again, that tshuva he did the first time, he thinks in his mind is really good. But a guy who's already premeditated this whole thing, this tshuva thing isn't.
So you think he made a mistake?
He may consider it good. He may consider it good.
But he's making a mistake.
Considering it.
He doesn't really know what tshuva is. He's going to miss out. Like you think he won't do the charata the real way.
Yeah, I can't see how it could be done that way.
Let's take a guy.
It can't be a guy who's a real tshuva, and okay, if he slips up, if he did a real tshuva, then he shouldn't have done it again Monday.
Is it possible to do a real tshuva? This is a question. To do a real tshuva and then do the Avera the next day. Well, let the guy wants to eat a real piece of chazer. Imam is such a taiva to eat a piece of chazer. So he says, I'll eat it and I'll do tshuva. I'll do tshuva, but tshuva gemura. I'll do charata. He'll do charata really. He'll do real charata. It could be he could do real charata. Now you want to know, but after that real charata, could he eat it again? Let's say he has another taiva. But what happened to the charata from yesterday? What do you hear the shayla? What happened to the charata from yesterday? The charata from you, that's a good kasha you're asking. How can you have a taiva? if he just felt so bad yesterday, how could he have a new type of new, really some force pulling him? Could you have such a force? I'm not sure. It's a good question.
Yeah, because he's tasted it already once. That's why. That's already.
So that would have.
He's tasted it already once, so it's always going to be in the back of his mind. And if he liked the taste, that tshuva would be even harder.
If he tasted it, so that right.
The taste.
But then he didn't do real tshuva. Because I was taking on, if the Mishnah said Ashuv, he's going to do a real tshuva.
It's complicated.
So, but then he wants to. Then he'll get along and say, it seems like, you know what it will be? It will be like. Well, it'll be lahach. Okay, good. We're finishing now. It seems like it won't be with a out of a taiva. It seems like he'll just do it because I want to do the avera. It's a good question. We'll have to think about this.